Why did I do this to myself? Hi, my name is Gareth, and I rewrote the entire core architecture of my indie game because apparently you do things like that when you learn and realize your code you wrote is absolute garbage. The sad thing is, this realization only hits 3 months later when you want to change something and you can't because everything is so interconnected and everything just breaks when you try and change something. This is the Devlog Diaries of Cloak Protocol, a stealth action espionage game following Raven on a quest to stop the evil organization known as the Collective. So the past few months I had to rewrite the core architecture of my game, and to be very honest, it broke my spirits a little. The issue with making a game from scratch and learning while doing so makes you kinda sorta realize you were actually really stupid and interlocked your code to an extent that if you remove a piece of code in a script you wrote 6 months ago, everything goes up in flames. It's not all bad though, even though it feels as if it's the end of the world. That's part of learning, right? So I think it will be great to showcase what I have been working on and what the state of Cloak Protocol is. Let's get into it. For starters, I removed the equip slots and I completely overhauled the inventory system. That was the core reason for the entire rewrite. The inventory system just was not working. This has caused so much frustration. And to be clear, it was not working the way I wanted it to work, even though it was working. I hit delete and I went back to the drawing board. I wanted an infinite loop inventory system, and I wanted to make sure that the player could select an item by just stopping the scroll wheel and having the item selected. With the power of ChatGPT and some code edits, I managed to get the inventory snapping working, and although it does not loop around infinitely, it's much better than what I had. This made me so happy because I could finally get it out of my mind and I could continue on to things that I'm more interested in working on. Before we continue, it would be amazing if you could hit the subscribe button, click the the like button and notification bell. It really helps the channel grow and it will keep you in the loop for when I publish new videos. Feel free to leave a comment, question or suggestion in the comment section below. I have also set up a Discord channel for those wanting a place to hang out and for those who wanting to learn, seek help or just share progress with others. You can find the link in the description below. Thank you so much for your support. Next up, audio management. In the world of game audio, we have a tool called FMod Studio. It's like a special studio made just for us game developers. Imagine it's a musician studio, but for sound in game. FMod Studio is where we compose a symphony of sounds that bring our game to life. It's like having a virtual orchestra at our fingertips, ready to play the soundtrack of our game. Now you might wonder why we chose FMod Studio over Unity's built-in audio engine. Unity audio works well for simple games, but FMod Studio offers us more advanced compatibility. It is like upgrading from a bicycle to a high-performance motorcycle. It gives us speed and control. This control and flexibility are like having an artist's palette with a full range of colors, allowing us to paint the perfect auditory canvas for our game. Now that we've set the stage, let's take a closer look at the two key players in our audio system, Audio Manager and FMod Events. In the gaming world, sound is crucial. It is what makes our games come alive, immersing players into the experience. The Audio Manager class is like a maestro conducting the symphony of sound within our game. The Audio Manager class manages different types of audio events. It keeps track of instances and emitters, ensuring everything plays harmoniously. It is our core. It's about creating, managing, and controlling any audio events. One key function is initializing background music, which sets up our game's background music. Imagine it's setting the mood for a scene, like choosing the right soundtrack for a movie. And then we have play one shot. This function handles short, impactful sounds like footsteps or a button click. It's about creating those small but significant auditory cues that players notice. Now let's move on to FMod Events. FMod Events is like an audio library. It houses references to different sound events in the game. Think of it as a catalog of audio effects we can use throughout our game. For example, we've categorized our sounds like footsteps on various surfaces or specific camera movements. The organization helps us easily access the right sounds at the right time. And of course, we cannot forget about the background music. We've got a dedicated section to handling different levels. Each level can have a unique vibe and music to keep players engaged and immersed. Together, these classes form the backbone of our game's auditory experience. They make sure every sound you hear enhances your gaming experience. To get back to the question, why did I have to rewrite almost everything? Well, to start off with, I use a Singleton Pattern in my game. This means that whenever I want to access something from a different class like the audio system or say the raycast controller, or any core piece of code like the inventory system or equipment system, I simply reference the instance of that class. Now, that on its own is not too much of an issue and it is a design pattern. However, if you call many Singleton classes like the audio manager and the inventory manager as well as the equipment manager, you will have 3 references in each of the 3 classes. The inventory waits to play an audio cue if an item is collected. The equipment manager plays an audio cue on the equipment of an item, and the audio manager needs to know what item sounds to play. You can see where I'm going with this. Reference upon references. There is, however, a very simple yet very cool solution to this problem. The solution is called the event system. With the event system, you can use something called the observer pattern. This programming pattern is probably my favorite. How this pattern works is if you have the audio manager, inventory manager, and the equipment manager, they do not need to know nor do they care about each other. Simply put, if I pick up an item, I then trigger an event. This event then tells the audio manager to play a sound. However, the inventory manager also listens to the event being triggered, and thanks to the event passing information to the class, the item gets added to the inventory. The power behind this design pattern allows me to completely delete classes, and the items will still be added into the inventory or the audio will still be playing, and there won't be any compile errors. Simply put, it completely removes the need to reference different class methods or variables in other classes. But keep in mind, there is a time and a place for this type of pattern, and it should not be the one-stop shop for all your programming problems. Sooner or later, you will need to save a reference to a variable somewhere for later usage, as the event system works as a once-off trigger to get information from one class to another. I then save the reference in the classes that are listening to the event being triggered. Lastly, I have moved away from the UI builder and back to the Unity basic UI system. The reason for my move was due to the UI builder just not being mature enough to actually do what I would like. The lack of tutorials and information online made it very hard for me to actually problem solve and to make something meaningful. I do want to thank you for following me on this development journey, and I'm sorry this video took longer to release than the others. The rewrite really got to me and I had to take a break from learning for a while. I am back though, and you can expect more videos in the future. Thank you so much again, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out. And subscribe.